Imagine a world where endless desert was just sand. Then, in the early 20th century, a single discovery changed everything. A thick black liquid that would turn sand into gold, deserts into metropolises, and sheiks into global power brokers. This is the story of how oil money didn't just build skyscrapers, it redrew the entire map of the world. One discovery turned sand into kingdoms and kings into gods. Let's rewind to the beginning. Before the 1930s, the Arabian Peninsula was one of the most impoverished regions on Earth. Its economy was based on pearl diving, fishing, and nomadic trade. But beneath the surface, a revolution was waiting to happen. Geologists from America and Britain, armed with theories and drilling equipment, began exploring the vast emptiness. In 1938, in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia, after years of failed attempts, they struck it rich. It wasn't just a small find. It was the largest source of petroleum the world had ever seen. This discovery was like unleashing a genie from a bottle. But this genie didn't grant 3 wishes. It granted unimaginable wealth and geopolitical influence. The first major shift happened with the Aramco Arabian-American Oil Company. This joint venture between American oil giants and the Saudi royal family created a bond that would define international relations for the next century. The United States, seeing the strategic importance of this resource, forged a powerful alliance with Saudi Arabia. Suddenly, a once-isolated desert kingdom was at the center of global strategy. This influx of petrodollars fueled a transformation that was nothing short of miraculous. Cities like Riyadh, Dubai, and Abu Dhabi sprouted from the sand. They weren't just cities, they were statements. The tallest buildings, the most luxurious hotels, the most ambitious infrastructure projects, all paid for by oil. This wasn't just about modernization, it was about projecting power. The new wealth allowed these nations to build powerful militaries, fund political movements, and create sovereign wealth funds that could buy up stakes in major Western companies. They were no longer just suppliers, they were players. But where there's great wealth, there's often great conflict. The redrawing of the map wasn't always peaceful. The fight for control over oil reserves fueled tensions and wars throughout the 20th and 21st centuries. Think about the Iran-Iraq War, where control of the Shatt al-Arab waterway, a key oil export route, was a major factor. Or the Gulf War, triggered by Iraq's invasion of Kuwait, a move widely seen as a grab for Kuwait's immense oil wealth. The presence of oil turned regional disputes into global crises, drawing in superpowers and reshaping alliances overnight. Then came the oil crisis of 1973. In response to Western support for Israel during the Yom Kippur War, Arab members of OPEC, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, proclaimed an oil embargo. The price of oil quadrupled almost overnight. For the first time, the world saw the true power these oil-producing nations held. They could turn off the tap and bring the global economy to its knees. This event was a seismic shock. It forced Western nations to confront their dependency and triggered a desperate search for alternative energy sources. But it also cemented the status of oil-producing states as indispensable forces in the global economy. They had a weapon more powerful than any army: control over the world's energy supply. The influence of oil money went far beyond economics and warfare. It also redrew the cultural and political landscape. Sovereign wealth funds from countries like Norway, the UAE, and Qatar began investing billions globally. They bought everything from European football clubs and London real estate to shares in companies like Volkswagen and Twitter. This soft power gave them a different kind of influence, embedding them into the very fabric of Western economies and culture. They weren't just selling a commodity, they were buying a seat at the global table. At the same time, this new wealth created unique societal structures. Nations like the UAE and Qatar became home to massive expatriate populations who now outnumbered the local citizens. This created a complex social dynamic, a blend of cultures living side by side, but often in parallel worlds. The oil wealth also allowed governments to provide extensive social welfare systems for their citizens: no income tax, free healthcare, and subsidized housing, creating a unique social contract where political participation was exchanged for economic security. But the story doesn't end there. As we move into an era of climate change and a global push for renewable energy, the map is starting to be redrawn once again. Oil-rich nations are now in a race against time. They know their primary resource won't last forever, or worse, the world might stop needing it. This is why we see ambitious projects like Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030 or the UAE's focus on tourism, technology, and finance. They are desperately trying to diversify their economies away from oil to prepare for a post-oil world. They are using the last great waves of oil wealth to build a future that does undepend on it. So, from barren desert to the center of global power, the journey of oil has been a dramatic one. It created dynasties, funded wars, built futuristic cities, and held the world economy hostage. It connected disparate corners of the globe in a complex web of dependency and rivalry. The lines on our maps, the alliances between our countries, and the balance of global power have all been shaped, and in many cases determined by this black liquid. The rise of oil power is a stark reminder that the resources beneath our feet can define the destinies of nations above. As we look to the future, the question is no longer just who has the oil, but who will be the quickest to move beyond it. Every drop of oil writes a new border. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through geopolitical history interesting, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the forces that shape our world. See you in the next video.